We're live. We're doing all the things over here on YouTube, Facebook. It's July the 1st. We're getting ready to budget live online. Now, I probably should have posted that I was going to be doing a live video earlier than now, but I didn't. Y'all, I have not had time, right? I didn't have time to do my budget video. So I'm going to do it live. And prayerfully, somebody will chime in and hang out with me. Hey, ma'am, good to see you. Let me know where you're chiming in from. Good to see everybody. I'm glad you're here. So for some of you who are new to the channel, we have a ton of new subs. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. New subs, right? So for some of you who are new, hey, Miss Sue, good to see you. I am Shakema, or one mom. I have 4 children. I have 2 girls, Alana and Shamika. Shamika is 33. Alana is 19. I have 2 sons, Trandon and Jackson. Hey, Cam. Jackson is 14. Trandon is 27. So I have 33, 27, 19, and 14. That's the ages of my children. I have 1 fur dog. Her name is Gracie. And we have a fur grand dog. His name is Acro. And Acro used to live with us. He lived with us for about a year while Shamika was working on her paperwork to enter her doctoral program. She's at Stanford University out in California. And just about a month ago, maybe, I don't even know if it's been that long, Acro flew back out to California to be with his mom. So Shamika is, I'm getting a son-in-law. His name is Keith. Keith is, he's an educator, just like Shamika is, and they are getting married next year. So I am going to be gaining a son, and I figured, listen, Acro going to live his best we together life. Y'all together, he together. So he cannot live here while y'all together. So he had to go home. We do miss him. Ma'am misses him more than I do, but it was time for him to go. Sometimes it's just like that. You know, I was really late getting my budget together, but I do have some like amazing things to share about the budget. So for those of you who are new to the channel, or maybe you haven't followed in a long time, today is July 1st. Now, I am an educator by profession, meaning I teach school 10 months out of the year. I start my year mid-August, and I work to the first week of June. But I get my last full official paycheck in May. So I do not get paid in June, and I do not get paid in July. So technically, I am unemployed for 2 months. Now, the only way that I'm able to have income is that I need to set aside money in my 10 months. Every time I have, every month that I get paid, I take money out, or I have my bank do it. I don't do it. My bank does it on an auto draft. They take money out and they put it into what's called my summer share account, because I know that I have to account for 2 months worth of expenses. And so I've done that every year for the past 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I don't even remember. Hey, ma'am, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see everybody that's here. Thank you so much for chiming in. Let me know where you're coming from so I can shout you out. Good to see everybody. So I've done that very successfully for the last couple of years. Now, what I take out of my paycheck each individual month is not enough to cover my bills. Not enough to cover what I normally cover in, it's not enough to cover what I'm normally covering each month. But here's how, no worries, just it's always catch the replay. Here's how I work that out. So I have specific things that I pay in 10-month segments. One thing that we do in our home that most people, most of the people who follow me do, and some don't, but that's okay, is we tithe. I tithe off of my gross income. I tithe in 10 months what my salary would be for the year. So I don't tithe in the summer months when I'm not employed, because I've already tithed those 10 months that I worked off all of the money that I make. Well, Shakema, how do you get summer share money? Well, that money comes out of my main paycheck each month, but I've tithed off of all the money at one time, right? So that's how I'm dealing with that. Now, so I don't have a tithe. That takes about $520 away that I don't have to account for during the regular month. What else? Groceries. I don't take money out of my paycheck for groceries. Here's why. Because every month for 10 months, I take out a certain amount of money out of my paycheck and I put it into an envelope for summer groceries. I have to account for 10 weeks of grocery money. I make 10 paychecks. So each paycheck, I pull out the same amount of money. The first year I did it, it was $50. That was 3 years ago. The second time I did it, the Lord told me to increase to $75. And this year, he told me to increase it to $100 every paycheck. Yeah. Excuse me. So that gives me $1,000 that I have to split between June and July's groceries. That's $500 each month, and I shop weekly. So that's how I allocate for that. So I'm taking away about $1,000 worth of regular expenses between my tithe and my groceries that I do not have to pay in the summer. The other thing is my gas bill goes way down because I don't have to drive. I'm not going to work every day. So in order for me to get to work, I'm having to drive. I drive to 3 different schools throughout the week. I'm at 2 schools twice a week, and I'm at 1 school once a week. And so I have to drive because I am a mobile person in my county. I don't have a county car. I have my car, but I do live close enough to my house now that it's not costing me a ton in gas. Okay. Before this year, I had to travel far. So I was putting a lot of gas in my car. When I'm not driving in the summer, the only thing I have to do is I have to take sister to work, and she works fairly close to our house now. And then church on Tuesday night and Thursday night and Sunday morning. That's what I have as far as driving is concerned. So that takes most of my expenses way, way down. Now, one of the things that happened this year that has never happened before, if you've been watching me, some of y'all have been watching me. We got started on YouTube because I would spend in my summer months $25 a week to feed my children. That's all the money that I had extra. I was not getting child support for my children at that time. I did not have any extra side hustles at that time. I simply just had whatever was in my paycheck, and $25 a week was all I could do for groceries. And I had 2 growing kids. Of course, my older kids were out of the house by then. One of the things about my children is I don't pay any of their expenses. My older children, all of my grown children, Alana included, I pay none of their expenses. They don't call me every month asking me for money. Hey, Michelle, they don't ask me for money. They don't be like, Mom, let me hold something till I get paid. Everybody in my family, praise God, hallelujah, is financially solvent and independent. So I'm not stretched beyond my means trying to take care of somebody else's household, because we have taught and trained and they saw me go through. So now their households are solvent and they have what they need as far as taking care of their monthly expenses. My son was in the military. My older daughter was in the military. Now Shamika's a doctoral student at the University of Stanford out in California, trained and works in insurance. Alana works at a little fast food place right now. But we think very soon she's going to get herself ready for doing community college. Not yet. She's still not ready yet, but very soon. She graduated last year from homeschool, senior level homeschool. And so she's just, taking time. She needs time. So for the first time, well, maybe let's talk income, right? Because a lot of people, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. I'll be happy to kind of explain something. No, I don't. But then, I'm still going to have to separate it out when I get the money. I just prefer to do it this way. It doesn't stress me out to do one more step because it's just a cash category that I get every single month because I buy my groceries in cash. I prefer everything else dumped into my checking account. And what I do then is just I pay my bills online. So I could actually, I hadn't even thought about it because that was not how it was presented to me in my brain because I'm a cash person for groceries. That is one of my categories for groceries. I just hadn't even thought about it, but that is a great idea. No, I wouldn't have the extra work. So, income for me, I have my regular paycheck. My children do get child support. Well, Jackson now, my older two children. Shamika never got child support. She was out of the house by the time we were getting a divorce. And it was a little bit of time before he paid child support. So Trandon didn't get it very long. It's been Alana and Jackson for a lot of years. And now Alana has funneled off of child support because she is 19. So it's just Jackson, but I still do get child support for Jackson. And I do use that money for his expenses. Now, when I budget my money, I don't budget child support because I know how that is. It may come, it may not come. It may come at the beginning of the month. It might come at the end of the month. It might be a month behind. It might be 3 months behind. Who knows? So I don't budget for any money that I don't make in my personal paycheck. I don't budget my side hustles. As far as side hustles, we went from $25 a week in groceries to having an LLC. Hey, ma'am, how are you? I have an LLC, which is my one mom. That's my YouTube. One mom, two girls, two boys, 8 in all is now an LLC for myself and the children. I've written 2 books. That does generate a little bit of income. I have a couple of affiliate links that do generate a little bit of income. I also have a brand, Shakema Wilson, on Facebook that has generated some income, but I don't plan for any of that money in my regular budget because it may come, it may not. It's variable. This month it could be different than next month and all of that. So I'm going to share with you my budget for this month, and you're going to see some things are missing. So if you have questions, make sure to type those in the chat. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't to our YouTube channel. It just helps to get it out in the feed, and we appreciate that. So let me share with you my budget. I use what's called the MYMT personal budget sheet. This is always linked in the description box of any video that I do. So if anybody is looking for it, you can just go copy the URL and dump it into your browser. It should be an automatic download. So this is my very first summer budget of the year. And as you can tell, some things are different. So I have in column A are my income versus expenses. In column B, I have what I budgeted for specific bills. And then in column C is what I actually paid. Now, as a general rule, I never budget in income because income can be variable. And I don't like fudging with my numbers. So I generally leave that very empty. I can definitely put in child support. That order has been the same for the last, I guess, 5 or 6 years, however long the kids have been on there. One thing you're not going to see anymore is one mom income. One mom income is not on my budget sheet anymore because for the very first time in 9 years, that we've been doing YouTube, the very first time for my family, I can't tell you what anybody else makes on YouTube. For my family, we have actually now set aside a business account for one mom. And that is business. It's not personal. This is my personal budget worksheet. This is what I make in my job as an educator. YouTube is not my job. It is my side business. Travel reimbursements for the summer, that doesn't exist because I don't get travel reimbursements in the summer. And then I do have unexpected blessings, gifts, funds transferred. If I need to take funds out of one other account and dump it into my checking account, I can make that notation here on my sheet. Now, if you look in yellow, that tells you everything above it that sums it up or does a total for me. Then I'll go down to my expenses. So for right now, all the income that I'm budgeting for is what rolled out of my summer share account. I'm going to get that same amount at the end of July, which will be my August budget. And even though I go back to work in August, I won't start my actual paycheck budgets until September 1st when I get my August paycheck. They go ahead and pay us for the full month of August, and that's why we have to work some into June. Technically, I'm August to May, but they pay us for the first 2 weeks of August, even though we don't work, and then we have to make it up on the back end those last couple of days of May and the first week of June. All right, now let me make sure I don't have any questions before I jump in. Okay, hey little lady, good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. All right, moving forward. Now, I have my expenses broken down. Now, we started doing the zero-based budgeting around, let me see, Jackson's 14, so about 13 years ago. Just in case you didn't know, my children and I are 100% debt-free. We don't owe anybody. When I first started doing the zero-based budgeting, I had some debt out there. My kids are coming back in from walking the dog. Hey, best friend. I had some debt that was left over from the marriage. I had some debt that was just, really was left over from the marriage. When he left everything, me, the kids, and the debt. And so I just took it. But I started doing the zero-based budgeting system. And so that's how this sheet is broken down. I have my living expenses, and there are some things you're not going to see on there anymore. I'm keeping my mortgage here because, excuse me, until I find out if I can write off my mortgage for my business, I'm just keeping it on my personal budget sheet, and I don't make enough to fund that anyway. However, I do use the full, every square inch of my home is for my business, for one mom. I use the garage for filming. We film in the living room. I film in my room, all the bathrooms, all the kitchens. We film in the yard, in the garden. So we have every square inch of this house is used for that business, one mom. But right now, I'm just leaving it there. If I scroll down, because I have made some changes, my household repairs, I think that's actually going to go in my business account because I use my house to film. And I film repairs. I film when I paint. I film when we tear up the floors and put new floors in, all of that. And then household miscellaneous, that would be anything that I'm using in the house as far as videos are concerned. So I think that I'll be able to move those two items into my business account. I just need to check with the accountant before I make those two moves. But you're missing some stuff, right? There's some stuff that's not there. My utilities are now a business expense. My water, a business expense. My internet, because I only have internet for social media, which is my side hustle. That's a business expense. We don't have cable, so I don't pay for any of that. And then my cell phone. 99.9% of my filming is done on my cell phone. So that becomes a business expense for write-off at the end of the year. So those items are gone, and 19 and 20 may be gone as well. Mr. Jerome does come by and cut my grass. I do not cut grass. I can cut grass. I just prefer not to. So Mr. Jerome comes in twice a month, $60 per cut. And he didn't raise my price this year. He raised it last year, but he didn't raise it this year. So probably next year he'll raise it. He cuts my grass April through October. November through March, he does not cut the grass. I pull that money into a separate account for other things. I do have recycling here. I do get my house sprayed. And I do have a yearly pest control bill that I have to pay. So I roll all of that into, it's a sinking fund. If you see SF, that means that's a sinking fund. And that's $55 that I save every single month for the entire year. All of my sinking funds, I save every single month. Now, my savings challenge, I did not pull my envelopes. I will have to pull envelopes for my savings challenge for this month. I forgot to pull those. All right, now, for my regular things that always come out, my Roth IRA, $75. Now, that is not my main 401k account. I have a 401k account at my work. This is something separate. This is a separate IRA account, and I just put money in there. My Amazon Prime is a recurring sinking fund. It's $13 a month. My PureFlix is a sinking fund at $11 a month that comes due in May. I've already paid it for this particular year, so I'm starting to sink funds so that when it comes again next year, it's ready to go. My Healthways gym, which is how I've been going to the gym, or my Healthways membership is how I go to the gym. That's through my insurance. It's $25 a month. And then I have a high school sinking fund for Jackson, which is $50 a month. Every first child support payment, I pull $50 out and I put that into a fund in case he needs shoes, he needs clothes, he needs anything for school. So it keeps mom from having to come out of my pocket with things because his dad sends money. So because dad sends money, I pull the money out and I put it where I need it to go. Now, child support can be used for the support of the child. I can pay the mortgage with it. I can pay the light bill with it, or the water bill, or buy groceries. I choose not to do that. But when Jackson was doing like Taekwondo, I would pay that up front and then reimburse myself later. Or if he needed something for school and the money hadn't come in, I would pay it then and then reimburse myself later. I also save money out of his child support that goes into his bank account every single time we get a deposit. And I did the same thing for sister. I didn't have as long to save for sister because we didn't get child support until I think it was about 4 years, 3 or 4 years. I saved for sister, but I didn't have a long time to save for her. Jackson has another 4 years to go. So it'll level itself out at some point where I have at least saved enough that when he leaves this house, he'll have something to either go to college, buy a car, get an apartment, something. He'll have something to start with. Okay. Food expense. I've taken all food expenses out because those are now covered by my sinking fund for my summer groceries, which I already have all of those monies already set aside and accounted for. I did leave eating out or holiday entertainment because that may happen. Holidays and entertainment, that may happen. Just don't know. Personal expenses, I put in for Jackson to get his haircut twice, which is $60. I typically keep short hair, but I don't plan to cut my hair in the next few months. I'm just going to let it grow. I like it when it's about a little bit longer than this because my curls curl up very nicely. So I did get it cut a while back, but I'm trying to let it grow out at least so that the curl pattern works itself back out the way it was. I don't buy clothing or shoes. And if I did, I would count that as a business expense because I shop thrift and I film videos about thrifting. Also, I am clothing reviewer for a online subscription clothing company called Nadine West, and every month they send me clothing to try. So I have not technically had to buy a lot of clothes in a long time. I shop thrift again, though, to save money, and the Lord sent us that clothing review opportunity. I don't make money from that, but I am able to keep the clothes if I want to keep them. No supplements that I'm getting. Oh, that's not true. I need to put in $25 for that. I'm sorry. Recreation, entertainment, vacation. I save every single month. That's a sinking fund for vacation. I just took a vacation and I wiped that account out because I was going somewhere and that's what it's for. So I'm starting over on vacation funds. Jackson gets $100 in his savings account every month. Gracie gets $40 for her heartworm, ticks, and her dog food. I'm probably going to have to increase that amount. Gas, I put in $200. That's what I normally would spend for the month. I probably could get away with doing $100 because Alana pays me gas money every 2 weeks. She gives me $20 a week, not because I need gas money, but she's going to have to put gas in her car when she gets one, and she needs to be accountable and responsible for paying that already. Oil change is a sinking fund, $20. My tires, several months ago, I went to get my car inspected. I was getting an oil change to get my car inspected. They said your car inspection fails because your tires are bald. Didn't even dawn on me that I needed to get new tires. But I wanted to make sure that if I need new tires, I have the money for it. So I set aside a sinking fund. I paid for the tires out of my money, no problem. And now I set aside every month so that if my tires come up again as an issue, I have the money there and I don't have to find it. My license and registration, car insurance, all that renewals, $92 a month. And then for sister's car replacement or her car money, I'm matching some money. Her dad is matching some money. So $80 a month goes into that. I take that out of child support. Well, she's not on child support anymore. I get that. But I don't have as long or didn't have as long to save for sister that I did for Jackson. So I make that adjustment and pull that money out for her car. No problem. Moving down further, I don't have anything in tithes and offering because I pay tithe. I don't know what offering will look like. I give offering in the summer, but I don't tithe. Then I have 2 ministries that I support. I don't have a set amount for those places either. Gifts, blow money, or thrifting, baby step savings. I didn't put any savings for baby step because I'm not working. Usually I try to save about $1,000 each particular month. I've not been very successful because things come up, but that's how it is. And then business expenses, I'm actually moving that totally off of this spreadsheet because I now have my own business expense spreadsheet. So with all of my expenses, that gives me $2,182 that I need to cover. Well, my paycheck or my summer share was only $1,965. So I am short about $100 and $200, 200 and some dollars. 200 and some dollars I'm short. 17, $217 I'm short. So that has to be made up at some point. Where do I make that up? Well, if I go back up to my income categories, I am going to garner some money from the children. Their dad is going to send child support. So there will be some makeup in there. Everything that I planned for Jackson, any Jackson expense is going to come out of child support. I will make money on my YouTube. Once I pay my expenses out of that, whatever's left, I can then self-pay myself. I don't take a salary at this point. I have a ministry. I don't take a salary from the ministry. And then if anybody wants to bless me or any jobs that I make outside of that, then that's going to be how I adjust or account for, Jackson's gym membership. See, this is why y'all help me. This is exactly why. Thank you, Rachel. Jackson goes to the gym. Let me see, where would I put that? Jackson gym. I'm going to put that in. Look, that's why you need eyes. Jackson gym membership. That is $42. Very good. Now, Jackson does not qualify for the Healthways, which is only $29, but he has to be 18 in order to qualify for that. Because he's not 18, he can't. So I was paying $10 per visit for him to go to the gym. So that means if I wanted to take him every day for 30 days, I would pay $300 a month just for him to be a guest at the gym with me. It only cost me $42 and he can go unlimited. And I take that out of his child support. I pay it up front because it comes out of my, checking account. But as dad puts money in or sends his portion to the state and they direct deposit it to me, then I just recoup that $42. But that's a Jackson expense. It comes out of his child support. Very good catch, Rachel. Thank you, because I forgot. Jasmine says, I have a debt question, but I know it's going to throw you off. It's okay, because I know you will want to explain. I'm going to try to remember. Okay, just let me know. I am cautious with my money. I am a safe bet. I'm a mutual fund. I'm not a day trading stock, if you want to think of it like that. I'm not fast with money decisions. Oh, let's do this. I'm not trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. I have been in a place where I have had a little and I have had more than what I could ever imagine having based on who I am. So as a single mom, the first thing you look at is how much money do you make? And doing the zero-based budgeting, your first line of attack is either going to be $500 in your sinking fund or in your emergency fund if you don't make a lot of money, or $1,000 in your emergency fund if you make over a certain amount of money. And he gives you those numbers. I was at 1,000. So I saved wherever I could find it. For me, it was at the grocery store. That's how I was able to save money when I first started budgeting 13 years ago. And I would coupon, and whatever I saved from my grocery trip, I would put that into sinking fund. The other thing is I would take any income tax returns and I'd chunk that to debt. Well, I can't be paying all my money to debt. Well, if you don't pay your debt off, you're going to pay your money to the debt anyway, and you're paying interest on that. So I'm not sitting here counting on my income taxes. I haven't received a refund in I don't know how many years. I have to pay every time, at least from the state. Last year was the first time I had to pay federal taxes, and I was like, ooh, but I have a sinking fund that saves up my taxes from my side income. My regular business, my regular job pulls out my taxes. Things like YouTube and Facebook, they do not pull out taxes, so I have to account for that. 15% of everything I make goes into an account for taxes. 10%, 10 to 15% of what I make from those things goes to my charitable contributions. So I have at Access disposable income of 70% of any side hustle that I make. So that's how I would do it. I would definitely see if there's some type of a second job you could get, either a work from home job, because you may have small children like I did in the very beginning, and they need you to be at home. I am a full-time stay-at-home mom in the summer for 10 weeks. I do not have to leave my house to work, but I work in my house because I do YouTube and I do Facebook and I do live videos and I do cooking and I do reviews and I do all kinds of stuff. But I don't leave my house to do it because I don't want to have to pay childcare for somebody else to take care of my children. I'd rather find something I could do from home. So that's what I do. If you are used to paying a certain amount of something and you have a discount, say you used to pay $150 for your light bill and your light bill this month was only $125. Well, you've already budgeted in for $150. Take the overflow and throw it into your savings account. Most people think you have to save a lot of money at one time. You don't have to save a lot of money at one time. You can save a little bit of money along the way, and it's still going to add up over time. Definitely put it into a savings account that is going to garner you some interest. My summer share account will give me some interest. So in my next deposit, which will be at the end of July, they'll deposit in the little few dollars that I made in interest into my checking account because it does draw interest all year long. The other thing that I suggest, if you are like me, I can get swipe happy. I was a swiper. I use cash. When my cash is gone, the cash is gone. There is no more. I can't take it out of this envelope and put it somewhere else. I don't even keep sinking funds, solvent sinking funds. I keep those in an online account. I have online sinking funds. I use a bank called Capital One 360, where I'm able to set up nesting savings accounts underneath my one main checking account. I have a debit card for any transactions. When my PureFlix came up, I dumped the money into the checking account and paid it with the card. When my pet, they came out and sprayed the house, I called the next day, dumped that money into my account, paid it. I don't pay any of those sinking fund bills out of my regular account. So I actually have 3 separate accounts now for all the things. I have credit union where I do this. I have Capital One 360 where I do this. And then I have a business account in a totally different place. But here's the thing. I didn't start there, right? So you don't look at where I am and go, oh my gosh, Shakima's doing all this. I started off with $25 a week for groceries. That was all I had with a degree. That was it. I had small kids. Jackson was a baby. Alana was about 8 or 9, somewhere in there, Training was about 13 or so when I became a single parent. So I've worked over the years to get myself to this point. I didn't always have a second income. I didn't always have child support. I only had what I had that I could count on, which was my paycheck. So that's why I always recommend, do not count on money that you don't know. Don't don't budget in money that you are not sure you can count on. I remember one time I was working with an individual and she was like, oh, well, my kids go to private school and my friend, she pays the tuition. Ma'am, let me help you. If your friend decides she don't want to pay tuition no more, that's going to be your bill. So either you budget it in and let your friend pay you, or they got to do something different. Stop. You're okay. You're okay. Hey, you're fine. So again, I don't do, that's just best practice for me. That doesn't have to be best practice for you. You know what works. One of the things that I appreciate about Rachel is most times if you have a second person that has access to your finances, you need to sit down and do finances together. I don't have anybody, and I'm just starting for the very first time to do a business budget because my business made enough money last month. We made, what was that? It was a little bit over $500. My YouTube, that's what I make, right? I don't know how these people making $35,000, $45,000 a month. I don't make that. $500, I think, is what I got. But that was enough to pay off the expenses for this month, right? And then I have had a few brand deals. I have one brand deal that I'm waiting to do right now that is a paid sponsorship. I don't do a lot of those. I do reviews, but as I am moving and working and valuing my time, because I have to shoot the videos, I got to edit videos, I got to do all the things. As I'm valuing my time is no longer free, right? I'm not just into the free product. I'm into what is this going to cost me time-wise. So I am now sending my rates to people. If you want me to do a review for you, these are my rates. And I've had people say, I'm sorry, that's just not our budget right now. Listen, no problem. We haven't lost anything. I haven't lost any time. You haven't lost any money. Move on, right? But some partnerships work better than others. But I didn't start there. So again, don't judge where you are based on where I am now. This is 13 years of putting it to the grindstone. I don't play games when it comes to my money, because I know what it's like to not have enough and then struggle and suffer with the mental anguish of how am I going to feed my kids? Sorry, y'all. So I am very for real about the budget. Now, the one thing that I do have leeway in is my giving. I never tell God what I'm not going to give. If God tells me to give it, it's gone. You can take that check to the bank and cash it, and the money is there. It is good. If God tells me to do it, it's done, because he always takes care of me on the back end. So that's how I work that part of my life out. Everything else is very, very rigid except my charitable giving, because he gets to determine that. And when I've been obedient to him in that area, this is why my children and I are where we are for the very first time in our lives. So now I've moved some stuff out of my main personal budget. All of those expenses, the light bill, the water bill, the cell phone, all those types of things. Okay. So Jasmine is putting a situation in. If you're able to see her comment, perhaps, let me see if I can put it up. I'll show the comment as well. Let me see. So let's see. Okay, it says maybe everyone. Okay, single mom, 5-year-old autistic child gets child support. 4-month-old with domestic partner, recently unemployed, expecting. Okay, let me go to this one. A check this month, no savings at all, have credit card debt, student loan debt, please advise. So again, I'll just tell you what the traditional advice is. Pay your minimum payments. Take whatever you can to put into an emergency fund, because emergencies are always going to come up. In the zero-based budgeting system, it talks about how do you set up your emergency fund. Yard sales, Facebook Marketplace, that's a thing. eBay, get something, find anything you can find that you know has value, and begin to work those systems. I went to the Goodwill the other day. Let me show y'all. I'll show y'all this. I gotta just move over here for a second. Okay. I haven't filmed this video. That's why y'all haven't seen this yet. So these are, see if you can see inside the shoe, American Eagle suede booties. American Eagle suede booties. They have some wear, but they are very good still. Good soles. It says American Eagle on the back, under the bottom, right? These booties, when you look them up online, if you buy them from the American Eagle shop online store, they are $167, I think. I went to Goodwill and picked those up for $4.49. They regular retail value at $167. So somewhere, if you have something like ThredUp, or if you have something like Poshmark, if you have something of that nature, you could put those shoes. I was seeing like 25, 45, 55. I was seeing different prices in those ranges. Put that stuff out there like that. Even if it doesn't move in the beginning, it's still there. And that's going to garner you some passive income some type of way. Now, I'm not a reseller. I don't have time to take all them pictures and put stuff up and deal with people who say they want it, then they don't want it and all that. I don't have any, I don't have any time for any of that. Let me see. Okay, here's a comment from Day-to-Day Lifestyle. She says, not trying to get in your business, but file for SSDI for your 5-year-old. You pay in the taxes and Social Security, use it when you need it. Okay. I don't know what that program is. Oh, he can't get it. Already tried. Okay. Did they give you a reason why he was not qualified, why he didn't qualify? Was there a reason? Because some people know things. Maybe they have had situations of that nature that they can help you with those reasons. But again, I'll go back to all the things that I can do at home. In the very beginning, when I was still trying to come up with different ways to make income, I have a friend. He is very, very, very good, to the top seller degree good on eBay. He has received top seller awards. When you look at his eBay account or his PayPal account from his eBay, we're talking about in the thousands of dollars, just sitting there, just sitting there. So he helped me. You never know until you try it. I would definitely go down and try. Monday's coming. What can they say, right? I would definitely, who's to say it won't garner for you what you need? But again, when I was out there trying to find income, my friend showed me how to do eBay. And I actually did do eBay for a little bit, and I earned some money. I would always sell the kids' curriculum back on eBay at the end of the year, and I'd get a little money from that. So I always have found something that I could do. I worked extra jobs. I coached cheerleading. I did dance team. I was already at school. I may as well stay at school for an extra hour or two and garner some income that way, right? So if you're trying to figure out how to save, the quickest thing you can do is a yard sale. I would not do a lot of baked goods. People don't want to be eating stuff. They don't know what your sanitation grade is. We don't know what your kitchen habits are like. So people ain't going to be trying to spend all that. But again, find things that people need, and then you can definitely make income. When you think about what all of the shutdown and lockdown and all those types of things did for a lot of people, it was help them start their own business. But even with that, starting your own business, you have to take into account. You have startups, babysitting. That's another one. Very good. Thank you. I didn't even think of that. Babysitting is really good. People are looking for childcare because so many, I know in our area where we live, the growth is exploding. We don't have enough childcare facilities for the children who need care. And so people are looking, put your flyers up, put your resume up. Hey, I have children, whatever the case may be, and I'm doing something in my home. I've had many, many people that I know have opened up their home to take in at least 1 or 2 children, right? One will give you more income than no income. So I think what I'm trying to caution against is that mindset that it's going to happen immediately, like you just going to blow up. I've been on social media for almost 10 years, 9 years in September, 9 years in September. And we still don't make zillions of dollars like some of these other people, but God is blessing us, right? And our channel subscriber count has gone up. Our viewed minutes, watch minutes have gone up. And this month we had an increase in our income for the next payout. So I'm thankful for that. When the Lord opened up and invited me into the Facebook program, that was a blessing from the Lord. I had never thought about it. It was not even something, I never thought I could own a business. Well, Shakema, to own a business, you have to have a brick and mortar, not for what I do. I am a social media influencer, if that's even a thing, just by sheer number of the followers I have on Facebook, plus the followers I have on YouTube, plus TikTok and Instagram. We have about 200,000 followers between all four of those platforms. At some point, it should garner money, but I'm over here working it. Somebody asked me, well, how do you get paid? You got to work. If you don't work, you don't get paid. And then a lot of people say, well, Shakema, you always on your computer. Well, this is how I make money. So, you know what I'm saying? So Jasmine was thanking those of you who jumped out there to help. Try it. Who's to say what will happen or what won't happen? You never know, right? Everybody has, things are different. Definitely try to get some food assistance. Maybe that's something that you can qualify for now that you are unemployed. Take it where you can find it. Give yourself grace, but don't give yourself an excuse not to work, right? That's everybody. That was me as well. Don't give yourself, and it's not for everybody. She says, I only have enough sanity for my own kids. So, I mean, good. That may not be your thing, but I know you have very good style. I know you have very good style. I know you have very good taste. What would it be to take, say you get $50, $60, just, pray about it. The Lord send it to you. You go out to a little resale shop, you find a couple clothing items that are very good brand, that have a lot of good wear, and you send them, and you open up a Poshmark or a ThreadUp or a Facebook Marketplace. Who's to say that small little investment will not turn into something different? I can't tell you that it will or won't. I'm just telling you that people are very heavily into online presence, social media. This is where people are. And so in order for you to be able to garner that income, you have to be where the people are, and they're out here. It used to be that you could send all these stars on Facebook, and now you can send 2 stars, honey, because it's expensive. Everything is expensive out here. But there is a market for you. There's a niche for you. There's somebody who wants what you have. I don't know what that is. You do. And so you go out and you work it every single day or every single few hours. Allocate your time. I shot one video before we had Saturday suppers. The kids are waiting to clean up the kitchen right now because I'm on this thing, which y'all actually can start. It's not going to bother me if y'all want to start in the kitchen. But I had to shoot a video before Saturday suppers. That video is done. This was another video that I needed to do. I don't have time to film it, do it live. People like the interaction. I enjoy the interaction. Then it's done. I just have to go back and do the back end stuff. No problem. Won't take me long. I have a reel that I have to edit for Facebook and Instagram tonight, which I'll do. It's a quick reel. And then I have to finish up the video so that I can edit that to get it out to the partner company. Oh, very good. Well, that's one load off, right? That's one load off of your mind, and you're not worrying about that. But for the first time in my journey with YouTube, my business was now able to take care of those household expenses, since I used my complete home for filming my business. And that took so much pressure off of my monies that I am for sure we're going to have enough to then put into savings. I have a trip that I'm going on this month. So that's going to help us in the long run. But it took me time, right? And then whatever I get from Facebook, That will be my sinking funds. I'm no longer taking sinking funds out of my YouTube money. That's going to come out of my Facebook, because that's my Shakema Wilson brand. That's my personal name brand. Anything that's one mom falls under my LLC, and we're going to be doing that through the business account. So that was exciting for me this month, to be able to have that portion of not worrying about or stressing over where's this money going to come from. There are ways to make money. You just have to figure out what works for you. My son works from home. My older son works from home. He answers phone. I don't know what he does. Something with insurance. I don't know. I don't even know what he does, but he works from home. He never leaves his house from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 8 to 5. And he is very religious with that job. He don't move from that computer. He's doing his stuff. When he's done, his day is done, he can go do whatever else. I think he got a second job just so he could go out and be with people. But he doesn't have children. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't, he's just trending. So again, look at your situation and figure out what's going to work for you. It may not be feasible for you to work at home, but it's definitely not feasible for you to work outside of the home. Or it wasn't for me when I had smaller kids, because childcare for one kid was too much. And then childcare for two of them, I couldn't afford that or swing it. So I had to do something in my house that would garner me income so that we could be where we needed to be. Anywho, there it is. I do want to thank y'all so much for stopping by, hanging out with Shakema, and listening to me jabber on. I do hope that you picked up a tip or two here or there. I do hope that you are able to make your ends meet and you don't have more month than money. I do hope that you will learn some different patterns of behavior. I had to learn different patterns of I could not just go out here swiping my card like I was crazy. Ma'am, you don't have enough money on that. Sit down somewhere. Stop being an Amazonian, right? And it just worked out for my family and I. We still work hard every day. We're doing all the things. Anywho, love you guys. I appreciate you. If you like the video, don't forget to thumb it up. Subscribe if you haven't to the channel. If you have questions, just leave me a comment down in the comment section and I'll get back to you as early as I am able. We love you guys and we will see you all next time. Bye now.